according to what I've read and what I've seen. And I think these are going to be the things that slow down or stop the elite from doing what they're trying to do, because I don't care how rich you are or what yacht you're on or wherever you are, a hurricane will affect you just like it does everybody else. So everyone's going to be affected by these weather changes that are going to be significant.
I know you've seen the numbers. They've been widely publicized. In the last 7 years, they say we've had more disasters, more hurricanes, more tsunamis, more earthquakes, more fires, more mudslides, than we had, more red tides than we had in the previous 20-plus years.
Yeah, and it's if you do a little research on it, you can find that it's all predictable, and that it's a cycle, and sun cycle, whatever you want to call it. But every so often, these things happen, and the world, the planet goes through some extreme weather conditions, and they last for 30, 40 years, and then things are back fairly normal again. But we're building up to it right now. And all the, I'm going to talk about 2012, the Mayan calendar. All those things are figured into it. They're just, we're headed toward some really bad weather. And how it's going to affect everyone, I don't know. There have been times when, you know, the tsunami that we just had a couple of years ago took out 250,000 people. So they say, well, the world's coming to an end. I don't believe that, but I do know the world came to an end for those people on that day. So there's a lot of things happening out there.
When did you first start learning about the Mayan calendar? Because a lot of people are very interested in that, and it does predict all those things.
I just started hearing about it and started checking up on it and reading about it. And from what I've read, though, it doesn't say it's the end of the world. It's more like that they're, what do you call it when your pedometer, I guess.
It's a reset.
It's over 100,000 miles and it starts over again. I think that's what's happening with the Mayan calendar. It's not the world's not coming in. It's just their method of counting the days is over and it starts over again.
So the end of a cycle, the end of an age, a reset.
Yeah, and there's been talk that say every so often, every 25, 26,000 years, the Earth goes through these cycles, and that at some point when it reaches a point that it will actually it will turn on its axis, and at that point we'll get the most extreme weather. But right now it seems like we're building up to that point where the Earth is going to sort of take a jerk on its axis, and who knows what will happen. But the good news is not anything we can do about it.
Now, on that end, the elite try to control things they're afraid of, and I've interviewed the father of weather weapons who could make it rain 10 feet of water in Vietnam with just 15 or 20 jets spraying different chemicals into clouds. Have you read about or heard about weather control?
I have heard. I don't know a lot about it. Tell me about it.
Well, I don't think they can control things on even a regional scale, but they can locally. You know, the Russians, you can pay them $1.5 million, and they can make sure your parade's clear. The Chinese government says they have limited weather manipulation and control. And I've interviewed Ben Livingston, who was the father of weather weapons in the 60s, you know, against Vietnam. He ran the squadrons who could flood them even in the dry season. And he says the government has the power to steer hurricanes or neutralize them or basically create them or kill them.
Well, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I kind of doubt it. I mean, they might be able to slow it down in some local areas, but as far as stopping the planet from doing what it's been doing for millions of years, I doubt very seriously if we're going to do that.
Well, I agree with you. From the evidence we've seen, it's the sun that mainly drives our climate, and it's heated up on a record cycle since they've been recording it, and then suddenly, in the last month, it cooled down. So the sun is definitely, in the 300 years they've been studying it, is doing some weird things right now, Willie.
Yeah, and again, fortunately, we're not in control. All we can do is watch it and you know, hope that we're in the right place, because that's basically what it's going to amount to. If you know, if there was a storm or a tornado or whatever, and you're in the wrong place, that's the end of the world for you. So we just have to hope that we can stay safe.
I just hope the establishment doesn't use all these weather changes and things that are happening as an excuse to get more control and kind of pose as the saviors.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. I see now we're getting ready to shoot down some bus-sized satellite that's falling on us. That may be just target practice, getting ready for anything else they might want to shoot down.
Well, I agree. It's come out that a bunch of these satellites have come into orbit and they burn up. They've never hurt anybody. Why suddenly do they want to shoot them down with particle beams?
To prove they can, I think. You have to test out these weapons just to make sure they work, Alex. You know that.
Speaking of weapons, the Iran situation, the neocons are still pushing to attack Iran. They're trying to claim that Iran's supplying weapons to Iraq, but time and time again it turns out that they're making that up. What's your view on starting a war with Iran?
Well, we do know that they're trying to do that, and whether they make it happen or not, I don't know. They're certainly capable of it. If we did attack Iran, would that affect our elections? Would that be considered a national emergency? I don't know. I don't know what it takes to stop elections. But it happened over in Afghanistan just a few weeks ago. They stopped the elections by having all these killings and interventions and bombings and all that. So let's hope it doesn't happen, but all those things are possibilities.
Well, the good news is a month and a half ago they tried to claim that Bhutto wasn't shot, and the video came out that she was, and it turns out some of our government agencies were clearly involved. But the polls day one showed that people weren't buying the story. I think that's the difference. Whereas 5-6 years ago people would buy the bull, why do you think now they're not buying the baloney?
What's that the George tried to say? Fool me once. I think we're all. I think we're all thinking the same thing. You know, you may have fooled me one time, but I'm not going for it this time.
But what is the establishment going to do? Because it looks like they're just keeping on their course. Be damned if the people are waking up. I mean, everybody I talk to who's tuned in says they've never felt such a feeling of concern that big changes are ahead. And I think it's the earth. I think it's the environment. I think it's genetic engineering, but I also think it's wars. I mean, do you feel that same sense of urgency, Willie?
I really do, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fear factor, and a lot of it has to do with the unknown. A lot of it has to do with the fact that the planet is spinning a little faster now, and that means information is coming at us a little faster. Maybe we're not quite ready to accept all the information that's being thrown at us from radio, TV, newspapers, and also from our own subconscious, that we're picking up messages from all over the planet that we've never picked up before. We're beginning to doubt things that we believed in all our lives, and we're beginning to find out that maybe we were wrong about a few things. And this is not only enlightening to a lot of people, but it's very troubling to a lot of people. They just can't imagine, they can't fathom that they've been wrong all this time.
Yeah, it's hard. A lot of people won't wake up, or they refuse to, because they don't want to be proven wrong. And it isn't about that, folks. It's never too late to turn back, is it?
No, it isn't, and the longer you deny a fact, well, you know, the more it's going to affect you in a negative way. So once you realize this is the way it is and accept it, then we can do something about it. But if we just remain ignorant about it, or choose to remain ignorant, it's not going to help anything.
I agree. They say that I think Carl Jung said the greatest form of mental illness is doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you're going to get a different response.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and hopefully we'll have to change our way of thinking, because the world is changing, and we'll have to change with it.
Willie Nelson, I want to thank you for spending more than an hour with us today. Happy and safe trails, and I'll be there watching you coming up March 4th at the Star Texas Rodeo. Moment of Forever is the new album. And Willie Nelson, God bless you. It's just been absolutely amazing spending this time with you, sir.
Well, thank you, and you too, and come down and see us at the rodeo.
I will, sir. I'm going to be right up there over the bullpens with the rest of my crew watching you. Sir.